History of Sikkim. Sikkim, a tiny Himalayan kingdom nestled between Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet, boasts a rich history that began with the indigenous Lepcha people, considered its earliest inhabitants, joined later by Bhutia settlers from Tibet. Founded in 1642 by Phuntsog Namgyal, the first Chogyal monarch of the Namgyal dynasty, Sikkim emerged as a Buddhist kingdom, its capital shifting from Yuksum to Rabdansay, and finally Gangtok. By the 18th century, Sikkim faced invasions from Nepal and Bhutan, losing territories like Darjeeling, which weakened its sovereignty. In 1817, the Treaty of Titalia allied Sikkim with the British East India Company, restoring some lands but drawing it into British influence. The 1861 Treaty of Tumlong formalized Sikkim as a British protectorate, with British political officers, like John Claude White in 1889, controlling its administration, limiting the Chogyal's power, and encouraging Nepali migration, which shifted demographics despite royal objections. In 1835, the British annexed Darjeeling, further eroding Sikkim's territory. After India's independence in 1947, Sikkim became an Indian protectorate under the 1950 Indo-Sikkimese Treaty, signed by Chogyal Tashi Namgyal and India's Harishwar Dayal, granting India control over Sikkim's defense, external affairs, and communications while allowing internal autonomy. Jawaharlal Nehru, favoring Sikkim's distinct status, rejected calls for merger despite pro-democracy movements led by the Sikkim State Congress, SSC, formed in 1947, which sought accession to India. The 1962 Sino-Indian War heightened India's security concerns, with skirmishes at Nathula Pass exposing Sikkim's strategic vulnerability. By the 1960s, Chogyal Palden Thondup Namgyal, succeeding his father in 1963, pushed for greater independence, seeking a Bhutanjant-like status, which clashed with India's strategic interests post the Chinese invasion of Tibet in 1949. In 1973, anti-monarchy protests, fueled by Nepali majority demands for democracy and supported by the Sikkim National Congress, SNC, under Kazi Lendup Dorji, erupted, surrounding the palace. The Chogyal, unable to quell the unrest, requested Indian intervention, leading to Indian troops taking control of Gangtok. A tripartite agreement in 1973 between the Chogyal, India, and political parties introduced reforms, curbing royal power. In 1974, SNC's electoral victory led to a new constitution, reducing the Chogyal to a titular role, which he resisted, seeking international support. India upgraded Sikkim to an associate state in 1974, granting it parliamentary seats, a move the Chogyal called illegal. On April 14, 1975, a referendum, overseen by India, saw 97% of voters, 637 to 496, favor abolishing the monarchy and merging with India, though the Chogyal and critics, including China, deemed it coerced, citing Indian military presence and the lack of neutral oversight. On May 16, 1975, the 36th Constitutional Amendment made Sikkim India's 22nd state, abolishing the Chogyal's office, with Kazi Lendup Dorji as its first chief minister. The merger, orchestrated with support from India's Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, as detailed by Officer GBS Sidhu, was driven by India's need to secure its borders against China. especially after the 1967 Doklam tensions. While many Sikkimese celebrated the merger as a path to democracy and development, others, particularly Bhutia Lepcha aristocrats and the Chogyal's supporters, viewed it as a betrayal, with lingering sentiments of lost identity. China recognized Sikkim as Indian in 2003, but some Sikkimese still question the referendum's legitimacy, seeing the kingdom's loss of independence as a calculated absorption, shaped by geopolitical strategy and internal divisions.